V Squared Outdoors here. Today we're going to be showing you how to mount a Lowrance active target on a Minn Kota Ulterra trolling motor. And that's right, we're going to mount it on a self-deploying Ulterra trolling motor. So what we have right here is instructions on how to put this together. It's pretty simple. Just a hose clamp around the barrel of the trolling motor, and the transducer goes right on the side. Now I'm going to show you a tip on how to make sure that transducer is going to work correctly. Okay, I'm back here again. I have the transducer mounted on the barrel of the trolling motor. Now you can see I already have the 3-in-1 on the barrel, so this is going to go off to the side. Works really well. The only trick is you have to secure this transducer through the bottom of the bracketing there. It's a little trick. You want to keep it away from that mounting post, as you can see right there. So as you can see here, I have it mounted on the side of the barrel of the trolling motor. Now, one of the most important things is obviously using forward mode with this system. So to have the transducer in a proper alignment, you have 3 lines on the transducer. What you want to make sure is the bottom one is square with the barrel of the trolling motor, and the top one's up at an angle, and so is your middle one. Now what that's going to do is that's going to give you the forward scanning, the partial forward scanning, and the downward scanning all in one. So you could just stay on forward mode, jig, and still see the fish in front of you, or you can flip back and go to the downward mode. And the next question is how is this going to work in a self-deploying motor? Well, you can see here with my 3-in-1, I have it mounted on the barrel, secured to the base. It goes through just a cable clamp, and it tracks right up to the top of my trolling motor. And on my trolling motor up there, there's a spring. Let me zoom in for you there. There's a spring. Now what that spring is going to do is going to give you enough tension to hold the cable in place and also allow your head to turn partially. And I say partially, you can get away with a full round movement, but you don't want to continue that way because obviously it'll damage the cables. So we're going to do the same thing with the Ulterra one here. We're going to try it, and then we're going to put the main module in the boat. So for the cabling itself, we're going to use these cable clamps. You can buy them at Menards. You can buy them at Ace Hardware. I picked up actually one set from Ace Hardware and another set from Menards. That is what's going to fix to the base of the trolling motor here. And the cable then is allowed to, of the transducer, allowed to slide through, again, up to the top spring. So it has tension, plus it'll give you slack. So what we have here now is I put one zip tie on the inside of that shaft and another zip tie through that first existing zip tie to allow the cable clamp to flex and turn to the correct location for the transducer cable. You can see I removed the original cable clamp from the 3-in-1 cable, and the reason why is I had to reposition it because I had to fit 2 cables through now. Okay, so I got the zip tie around the shaft there of the mounting base, another zip tie through that, and the next scene I'll show you with the cable clamp on there. Okay, so the cable clamp is on there. I just need to secure it down, and I'll pull it down in 1 second. Again, I don't got any fancy cameras. I'm just using my phone here. But it's a great thing I figured out many years ago, and it works excellent. And boom, there it is. It's secured down. Now you can see this time it's turned off to the side because the active target's going to be facing the other direction. So it'll allow both cables to work side by side. And then trimmed off, it looks just like that. Sits in there almost like it was made for it. Again, the cable goes right through there, up to the spring. So the next part, I'll be putting on the 3-in-1, the active target transducer, mounting it to the base here, and cable. All right, V Squared Outdoors back here again. So I'm just leaving this loose in here just to show you. I got the one cable clamp, one zip tie around the shaft there. I left the other one out there, ran it through the cable clamp, and over the transducer cable for the active target. So next thing you know, you'll see it secured together. Alright, so now I have the cable clamp secure on the 3-in-1 transducer cable. And it's also secured around the shaft. All I need to do is trim that tail there. I don't think I'm going to secure it to the base, because since the 3-in-1 is further out from the barrel, it actually aligns almost perfect. So I'm not going to secure it to the base. I'll just put a spring on up there again with tension at the head of the motor. Okay, V-Squared Outdoors back here again. This is what it looks like from the top view with both cables strung through, attached to the base of the Ulterra. Again, right from the active target, right through the loop, and we're going to go right up to the shaft to the head there. Alright, so now I'm near the head of the motor. I got the cable strung up this way. And the problem I have today is the spring I bought isn't as flexible as the spring that's on here. So I'm going to need to pick up a new spring tomorrow. But I'll still continue threading this. And so what I'm doing is you bring the cable right up to the head of the motor. The spring will attach right in here, the second spring. And then thread it right down the middle of the twists of the trolling motor. It's going to go from there into the nose of this Ranger Z21. Now, the problem we have here again is I'm full of cables. So I'm going to have to drill a secondary hole, put in a grommet, and run the cable into there. And you want to run the cable into the nose of your boat and secure it. That way it's less likely this transducer will be stalled, because it would be a major project to remove it from the nose of the boat. V-Squared Outdoors here, back again with the active target being mounted on a Minn Kota Ulterra. Absolutely love this motor, self-deploying. So again, what I have is a 3-in-1 on the bottom, and the active target mounted to the barrel of the trolling motor. Right here are the two brackets that I made out of cable ties that allow the cable to slide through. The cable goes up. And the reason why there's two cables on here, again, is I have a 3-in-1 on here. It attaches to a spring. You leave some gap here in the head so the motor can spin around. And then if it tightens up, you got some spring plays. You can see quite a bit of play there. You don't want a stiff spring on there. And the reason why you don't want a stiff spring is it could damage your cable. So you want a nice, flexible spring. Again, you won't be overextending them all the time. Then the cables ran down through there. They're going to loop back, and I'm going to have to create yet another hole because I don't have space in here to mount, to bring in the transducer cable to the module. My boat's dirty because it's been in storage here all winter, and so I apologize for that. But if you have any questions, feel free to message me here on YouTube. Again, V-Squared Outdoors, we're out there to help you catch more fish. V-Squared Outdoors again, back here to show you the motor deploying with the cables going through it. It's a little trick here, doing it by myself, but hit the... And you can see how nicely they slide right through the bracket. Again. And I gotta watch this so I don't hit the ceiling or the boat trailer.